Hello and welcome to another Fantasy Premier League video. My name is Steve and I'm a little bit under the weather today, so please bear with me, especially if I'm a little bit slow with anything here, but this is my team selection video heading into game week 7. We've just come off a massive green arrow, scoring 98 points in game week 6, taking my overall rank all the way up to 56k overall. And I've got a couple of potentially contentious selections in my squad today, which we will go through in a little bit more detail. So the first point is that I am starting Johnstone in net away to Manchester United instead of playing Turner from Nottingham Forest at home to Brentford. And the main reason for that is, well, there's a couple of reasons. If we take a look at the expected goals conceded, this is the total value, this is not a per 90 value. So this is the second to last column on screen, all teams ordered by the smallest expected goals at the top conceded and the worst at the bottom. You will see Crystal Palace is 8th on the 8th on their chart at 8.6 goals conceded in the first 6 game weeks. They've had a bit of a mixed bag in terms of fixtures. Sheffield United, pretty easy. Arsenal, okay, very tough game. Brentford, who have been putting up some amazing expected goal stats so far this season. That makes it a bit tougher on Crystal Palace's results there. Wolves, not too much of a tough team, but they have been attacking all right, especially in the first half of that Liverpool game a couple of weeks ago. Aston Villa and then Fulham. And so if we compare Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest, 8.6 for Crystal Palace and 8.34 for Nottingham Forest. I mean, Nottingham Forest have had a more difficult run of fixtures here. Arsenal, Manchester United, Man City as 3 of the first 6. Chelsea is in there as well, but I am not really classifying Chelsea as a tough game at the moment, given exactly how they are playing. However, Johnstone seems to be making quite a few saves in the Crystal Palace team. There are quite a lot of shots coming from range, and so they are low XG shots that he is picking up save points for as they're coming from quite far out. Bruno Fernandes in the Manchester United team is sitting very high up the expected goals and assist charts because he too is actually shooting quite a lot from quite far out, and I think Johnstone will just lap up those points. And Nottingham Forest is playing Brentford, who are, if I order this now by expected goals, Brentford are 4th in the league over the first 6 game weeks for expected goals. They are going to generate a lot of attack against Nottingham Forest, and I suspect they will score a couple of goals here. Yes, Turner may pick up some save points as well, but given Manchester United aren't attacking too fluently, a lot of their shots are coming from outside the box, and the attack itself in United isn't too coordinated. I mean, we only barely beat Burnley last week 1-0. Could have quite easily been 1-1 as Burnley had a one-on-one, slotted it past Onana, but it hit the post and came out. But the goal that was scored by Manchester United was a long ball from Johnny Evans at centre-back over the whole field of play into the box for Bruno Fernandes to hit a first-time beautiful volley to score the goal. But that is the only significant bit of attack that resulted in a goal. So I think Crystal Palace have a better shot at shutting out Manchester United than Nottingham Forest this weekend, and I do suspect that Johnstone will pick up some save points. And if they do manage to keep a clean sheet, I think Johnstone will also come away with a few bonus. Across the back of the park, I've got both Botman and Byrne, my 2 most recent signings, at home to Burnley. And then my second potentially contentious point here is that I am going to be starting a Stupinan over Kabore with his double game week. And the reason for that is Luton, I believe, are going to be dead last come the end of the season, probably relatively comfortably. I do not expect that they will keep a clean sheet in either fixture, and the chances of Kabore actually coming away with an attacking return are incredibly slim, considering if we look at the expected goals charts here, Luton are currently 16th. However, they have only played 5 games, so they may in fact be a little bit higher up in these charts had they played the full 6 games. But having watched Luton in that Chelsea fixture, the full 90, Luton did not at all inspire. Chelsea weren't playing too amazing in that game either, so it wasn't really the fact that they were up against a hard opponent. I didn't think Chelsea were doing too well in that fixture. That was actually the game I watched where I decided Chelsea were just a full no-go in my squad, apart from Chilwell, who I already owned, and swerved away from Sterling and Nicholas Jackson at that point. But watching Luton, I was like, man, these guys are going to struggle in the league. And so the game against Everton, I can totally see Everton scoring a goal, maybe even 2 or 3. They did manage to score 3 goals against Brentford last weekend. That's Everton. And so it really only comes down to that Luton versus Burnley fixture. And having watched Burnley play Manchester United last week, I suspect Burnley are probably going to score against Luton as well. And so, considering I think Kabore concedes in both games, and although it is probably, 60% likely that Brighton do concede against Aston Villa, I think there is a stronger shot that Brighton may in fact keep a clean sheet in this game. But the attacking threat in this game particularly, I think, is well within Estupinan's realms to come away with either a goal or an assist, or maybe even a double attacking return in this game. If he does manage to keep a clean sheet, I think he may even come away with some bonus points in this fixture as well. And so I am not going anywhere near this Luton game at all. Across the middle of the park, I've got Mbumo away to Nottingham Forest. Maddison at home to Liverpool, who is currently flagged. That flag is sitting there because of the knock that he took to his knee in the North London derby last week. He did go down on the pitch, did receive some treatment. He did get back onto the pitch and run around for a little while. And I think it was Postecoglou that took him off, simply because even though I think he thinks he could have continued, it was such a big match and it was 2-2 at that point that he did not want Maddison to cost the point that was already secured in the bag, and so I think he pulled him off at that point. I'm pretty sure that Maddison will play, but even if he is injured for this match, I think I'm just going to hold Maddison and play Kabore off the bench and hope to get extremely lucky with a Luton double defence. And the reason for that is I've been on James Maddison since the start of the season. I picked him up at 7.5 million. He is now up to 7.9 million, and I only have 0.1 million in the bank. So if I do, in fact, sell Maddison, I would not be able to buy him back too easily unless I downgrade somewhere else in my squad, of which I do not really want to do. The only likely candidate for a downgrade in the squad is Johnstone down to an Areola, who would give me enough funds to buy Maddison back, but that transfer is potentially waiting in the wings for an upgrade somewhere else on the pitch, and so I do not really want to waste the money that I have stored in Johnstone for a trade down to Areola just in order to sell Maddison for a game week or two in order to buy him back. The Tottenham fixtures after Liverpool at home are incredibly kind. They have Luton away, Fulham at home, Crystal Palace away, Chelsea at home. I think that's a good game. I don't think Chelsea, based on the way they're currently playing, they would have to turn it around somewhat crazy for me to be worried about that fixture. Then Wolves away and Aston Villa at home before they go away to Man City in game week 14. And so I want to be holding my double Spurs through that entire run if at all possible. And so if Maddison is out, I'm suspecting that he will only be out for 1 week, although since it is such a big game, I think that he will probably play if at all possible. And so he will be held into my team, and if he is in fact injured, I will be playing Kabore off the bench. That then leads into Saka, who it is Thursday New Zealand time at the current time of recording. We are a couple of days out from the deadline, and Saka has not yet trained for Arsenal, which is a bit concerning. Saka has been carrying a bit of an issue for a little while. He limped off the pitch in the North London derby, and he is potentially a little bit of an issue this weekend. We will be waiting until the press conferences, and I'm certain that he will be asked about it in those press conferences. He is potentially a sale for me. He's currently at 8.7 million. I picked him up for 8.5, so if I sell him, it will be for 8.6 million. Excuse me. And he is currently trending down, so he could in fact drop to 8.6 million. Excuse me. Before the deadline. And if he does look like he is going to drop, then I probably will just sell him to someone else, probably a Foden, and then just to buy him back at the cheaper price of 8.6 million. I do have 0.1 million in the bank, and so if I do sell him for 8.6, I could still buy him back for 8.7 million, but cash is really, really tight in my team. So I do not really want to be spending that 0.1 million on just swapping Saka out for a week or so, because I actually have no plans to sell him. I know there are a lot of managers looking to get rid of Saka, some of which who are looking to sell Saka in order to get Salah into their teams, and that is largely because they have to play Man City, Chelsea and Newcastle in the next 5 fixtures, including the Bournemouth fixture. However, like I've already said, I do not see that Chelsea fixture as at all as a hard game. I think Arsenal would probably batter Chelsea if they had a full strength squad and went up against them this week. It's really only that Man City fixture and Newcastle in game week 11, and I don't really see that as enough of a reason to be getting rid of Bukayo Saka. He's currently owned by 65% of the game, but he is owned by 85% of managers in the top 500k, as well as 85% of managers in the top 25k. And so going without Saka is a bit of a rank gamble. I know a lot of managers even benched Saka last weekend in the North London derby because the fixture looked pretty tough on paper. However, I think in these Arsenal games, they're always going to score goals. Saka is always usually in and around the box and very likely to be picking up points. And at 85% ownership, if he does what he did in the North London derby and gets a goal and an assist and 13 points, at 85% ownership, that is quite a decimation to the rank. Decimation? I don't even know if that's the correct use of that word. Decimated would be. Anyway. Off on a tangent. So I do not want to be selling Saka. I think he can score in any game, even that Man City game. It will be a tough game on paper, but he is the kind of player that can just pop up and score goals, and so I do not necessarily want to be getting rid of him. However, if he is out for this Bournemouth fixture, I probably will sell him for 2 game weeks. I will sell him for the Bournemouth fixture and then not buy him back for the Man City game, and probably just look to get him back in for that Chelsea fixture. Hopefully he doesn't shift too much in price, and I am still able to do that. Across the rest of the middle of the park, we've got Son at home to Liverpool. I'm very excited about this game. I think this is definitely the kind of game where Son will get afforded a whole bunch of opportunities, as I am expecting end-to-end football, very similar to the game in the North London derby, and the clinical nature of Son, he could be set to come away with another double-figure haul. And Salah is my last spot in the middle of the park. Away to Tottenham, same deal really for Salah. This game of Spurs versus Liverpool is going to be end-to-end football. It's going to be a highly entertaining match. I think there's going to be goals galore. Hopefully Son, Salah and Maddison can get amongst the returns. Up front, we've got Julian Alvarez away to Wolves and Haaland, captain, away to Wolves. On the bench, we've got Turner at home to Brentford, Kabore with his double away to Everton and at home to Burnley, first on the bench. Baldock, who is currently injured, 25% chance of playing, that's not great, away to West Ham, and then Woodrow, who is a now 4.4 million striker asset, who is basically only getting about 5 to 10 minutes off the bench in the odd games, and so I have absolutely no plans to be playing him at all. And so that is the team and the team selection video. So if you enjoyed this video and got something out of it, press the like button and consider subscribing. And if not, that's all right too. I appreciate you watching. Cheers.